Hunter x Hunter is one of the most popular shonen series, and although it falls short on the big three shonen status, it is widely appreciated among anime fans as one of the most unique and well-crafted stories of all time. It has been around for over 2 decades, with the manga originally debuting in March 1998 and coming to halt in 2006, where it has since been kept on an extended hiatus. One of the core foundations that makes up the majority of Hunter x Hunter is its in-depth and fascinating magical power system, Nen. Without it, 80% of the storyline wouldn't exist. Nen is the fundamental power system in Hunter x Hunter. It allows person to manipulate their own life energy, also known as their aura, and use it to create Nen techniques that are unique to them as an individual. Depending on the user, their abilities can be incredibly powerful and often dangerous. That's why its existence is kept hidden from the public. Those who embark on this journey to learn Nen often endure hellish training, both for characters to learn it and viewers to understand it. But at the end, the results are certainly worth it. So if you have watched Hunter x Hunter and still didn't understand how exactly Nen works, then you should consider watching this video to understand everything in detail. For those acquainted with these basics, Nen exists in all life forms. It's essentially the aura of life itself. Nen as a technique is the ability to manipulate Nen as a kind of energy, while anyone capable of doing so is simply known as a Nen user. This type of person is incredibly rare in society due to the simple fact that the vast majority of people have no idea that Nen ever exists. Although in some cases non-Nen users are capable of sensing it, but we actually see this right at the beginning of the Hunter x Hunter, where Killua is able to detect Hisoka's bloodlust despite being completely unaware of Nen's existence at that point in time. While aura is the life energy produced by all living bodies, which is vital for survival. Aura from all parts of the body has a tendency to flow together, producing one mass of energy. This happens without an individual's awareness, typically resulting in a slow leak of aura continuously escaping the body and streaming up and off the top of the head. The pores or the points on the body from which the aura flows out from are called as aura nodes. In normal conditions, aura leaks away constantly without exceedingly harmful consequences. However, if someone whose aura nodes are fully open does not attempt to close them or control the flow of their aura, they will soon grow so fatigued that they will be unable to stand or even lose consciousness. Grave wounds such as mutilations can disrupt the flow of aura in the affected body part or even stop it altogether. Controlling one's aura nodes is the first step to becoming an Nen user. Aura can be seen only after the aura nodes in the eyes are opened. People who have not trained in Ten will leak aura similar to water vapor from a kettle. If you don't know what is Ten, then we will look at it afterwards in the video. Nonetheless, sensitive individuals can feel its presence without being aware of its existence. It has been described as feeling like a warm, viscous fluid at rest, whereas powerful, refined auras produces a sensation that feels akin to needles picking into the skin. Hostile auras generates extremely unpleasant sensations, which can cause a non-user to halt in their tracks and be unable to walk towards the source as if a wall has been erected in front of them. Since every living being emits aura subconsciously, learning to sense aura is a useful skill for thus tracking living things or hunting non-living things infused with aura. An experienced user of Nen can judge the location and relative strength of their opponent by reading the output of their aura. On the other hand, skilled Nen user can also regulate the flow of their aura so that they can appear to be beginners or regular individuals. A student learning Nen trains to manually open and close their aura nodes so that they can control the flow of their aura. One typically learns this process slowly and gradually throughout the meditation. But there is a second method called as initiation. This method is achieved by forcing the aura nodes to open through influx of aura. Despite being much quicker, this method is typically frowned upon by the Nen instructors due to the danger it poses to the students if the user is inexperienced or has a malicious intent, and it is not considered a standard teaching method. There is something called as a state of half awakening in which an individual may be able to control their aura to a certain degree and release a larger amount than a normal person, but still have some of their aura nodes closed, which may result in them being unable to see aura. This state can be found in some of the victims of manipulation Nen as well as in the bodyguards of Hulkenberg Hui Goro, who reached it through the latter's guardian spirit beast. Although the production of aura is unconscious and constant by all living beings, it is not only life energy. Aura carries with it the desire and the emotions of one who deploys it, which is what allows Nen to have an incredible versatility to those who develop their skills at using it, and also heavily influenced by mental conditions and emotional states. A basic application of this phenomenon is that one can channel their aggression and malice into their aura and deploy it towards another person, that is bloodlust, and the other person will be able to feel the bloodlust as if they are physically touched. If unable to keep it from their own body by deploying their own Nen, he or she may be psychologically as well as physically harmed by it. In order to fully grasp Nen, one must first learn 4 major principles of the Shingen-ryu school of Kung Fu. Everything else, including a practitioner of Nen's individual skill, is based on the basic manipulation of one's aura flow. The 4 major principles in order to study are Ten, Zetsu, Ren and Hatsu. These basic techniques become second nature to those experienced Nen. For example, a beginner must learn to use Ten and concentrate to maintain it, whereas someone with experience will practically always be in the state of Ten even while during sleep. But what exactly is Ten? Once a person have opened their aura nodes, they must learn to keep their aura from leaking away from their body. Ten is the process of keeping the nodes open but also having the aura flow through and around the body rather than away from it. Once maintained, it creates a shroud around the user that feels similar to standing in a lukewarm fluid. Ten maintains youthful vigor and reduces one's aging. Since the energy powering the body no longer leaks away, one can keep the body from breaking down and deter aging process. Ten is the most basic defense against emotional Nen attacks, and it also offers limited protection against physical attacks, but hardly any when said attacks are enhanced with aura. The next thing is Etsu. While Ten allows a user to keep aura from leaking away from the body, or also pronounced as Zetsu, stops the flow of aura from their body altogether. By closing all of their aura nodes, the user is able to halt all the outlets of their aura like water from the walls, making their presence much harder or even impossible to sense. Shutting off these nodes in the eye prevents the user from being able to see aura, but since they are no longer surrounded by their own aura, they become more sensitive to the auras of others. This enhancement in perception is such that Zetsu can counter in, although it is not advised to employ it this way. This technique is thus only used when tracking another person, as not only it will make it easier to follow them, but it will also prevent other users of Nen from noticing their presence. However, there are other ways to perceive a person's hiding with Zetsu. Aside from the 5 senses being effective, particularly perceptive individuals are capable of detecting the gaze of another person, although they might not manage to find the position and the number of the onlookers. The next principle is Ren. Ren focuses on outputting a larger amount of aura than Ten, projecting it outwards explosively. This amplifies the user's physical strength and durability and provides a large pool of aura for any advanced techniques or individual skills they decide to use, but at the cost of expending said aura. One can train their Ren to extend their duration and increase the amount of aura at their disposal. It is said it takes 1 month to prolong one's Ren outside of the combat by 10 minutes. If Ten is considered purely defensive, Ren can be regarded as its offensive counterpart, although it also grants the user vastly enhanced defensive abilities. With the right timing, Ten can be used to contain the aura produced with Ren. Now after this, the fourth and the last principle is Hatsu. Hatsu is one's personal expression of Nen. Its qualities are influenced by but not restricted to the Nen's user's natural Nen category, one of the 6 available which we will go over later in the video. Hatsu is used to project one's aura to carry out a certain function, creating a special and unique paranormal ability that is referred to as Nen ability or simply ability. At first, Hatsu appears simply as a consequence of using Ren during water deviation. However, it is more than a merely property of the latter, and it can be trained individually either through water deviation itself, which however seems to only affect the user's natural category, or by honing one's skills in Nen category through specific exercises. Once a certain level of skill has been attained, the student can attempt to create their personal Nen abilities. After acquiring a working commands of the basics of these 4 principles, a student is introduced to a series of advanced techniques that often combine or are derived from the 4 major principles. These techniques expand the user's option in combat, but they also consume more aura than the 4 major principles. Let's see few examples of these techniques. The first one is Gyo. Gyo is an advanced application of Ren by which a Nen user concentrates a larger than normal portion of their aura into one specific body part. It increases the strength of the one body part but leaves the rest of the body more vulnerable. Gyo is most often used in eyes, allowing a Nen user to see aura and Nen constructs concealed within, as well as traces of aura so faint that they might go unnoticed otherwise. Another technique is In. In is an advanced form of Zetsu used to render one's aura imperceptible, effectively concealing it. Unlike Zetsu, however, it does not stop the user's aura flow. Instead, it hides it, making it impossible to perceive with any of the 5 senses or extrasensory perception. Hence, this technique is perfect for launching sneak attacks and laying traps, as it can conceal not only the user's presence but also Nen constructs generated within the transmutation or conjuration. Another technique is N. N is an advanced application of Ten and Ren. In Ren, aura usually develops only a small amount of space around the user's body, while in this technique N, it is when one extends their Ren so that their aura extends further than normal boundaries. Then uses Ten at the same time to contain and give the shape to that aura, normally a sphere. The minimum requirement is to extend one's aura to a radius of more than 2 meters and hold it longer than 1 minute. Someone using N can feel the shape and the movement of anything within the area covered by their aura, with the degree of awareness and fineness depending on their level of skill. Nen users can be told apart from regular persons due to their stronger reaction to N's user auras. Another technique is Shu. Shu is an advanced application of Ten. Shu allows a user of Nen to enshroud an object with their aura, allowing them to use the object as an extension of their own body. For example, one could use Shu to extend their Ten around a weapon, which would strengthen and protect it. If you have watched One Piece, Shu is just like Haki. In One Piece, people put Haki into their weapons to make those weapons last longer during fight. Shu is just like this. Shu can be combined with other techniques such as Ko. Now what is Ko? Ko is a combination of Ten, Zetsu, Ren, Hatsu and Gyo in which all of the user's aura is concentrated on one particular body part. Gyo is utilized to focus aura on the part of the body. Now let's take a look at how the Ko is formed by mixing all of these combinations. Gyo is utilized to focus aura on the part of the body, while Ten is used to prevent it from dispersing. Zetsu is used to completely stop the flow of Nen in other parts of the body, increasing the output in a desired area. With Ren, the amount of aura is increased even further. This makes that one body part extremely powerful, but at the cost of leaving the rest of the user's body completely unprotected. Due to the risk it carries, Ko is regarded as a purely offensive technique. Next technique is Ken. Ken is an advanced version of the basic Ten and Ren technique. It is a primarily defensive technique where a Nen user maintains a state of Ren for a prolonged amount of time. The amount of aura surrounds the user's body during Ken is about 10 times higher than during Ten. Ken allows the Nen user to guard against attacks from any direction, but the large amount of aura produced makes it tiring to maintain. It is considered the best option to defend from Ko. Despite not being as powerful as the latter on any given part of the body, it can protect all of it evenly. Next technique is Ryu. Ryu is the term for use of Gyo from the state of Ken to perform real-time offensive and defensive value adjustments. I know this is confusing, but let me explain. If Ko develops 100% of one's aura to offense or much more rarely to defense, and Ken splits it evenly between the two, Ryu is redistributed one's aura according to any other percentage. For example, if you want your hit to be stronger, then what you will do is focus the 70% of one's aura in one feast and remaining 30% everywhere else as one is about to strike. Or else, suppose if someone is going to hit you and you want to protect yourself with your leg, then what you will do is put your 80% of your aura into your leg and remaining 20% all over the body. So what this dividation of aura will do is when you are striking any punch, it will make your punch stronger, and suppose if you are defending yourself from any attack, then it will make your defense much more harder. I hope you understood it in the simple language. It is utilized to damage a Ken user without leaving oneself as unprotected as during Ko, although the power of the technique is very lower. Ryu is very difficult to master as it requires not only to control one's aura flow with great precision, but also be able to estimate the amount of aura utilized by the opponent at a glance. Now we are moving to the next part of this video, which is called as the types of aura. There are total 6 types of auras. Every individual is born having one of these 6 different types of auras. Upon learning one's aura type, a student of Nen can set about learning to apply the technique in a unique way that suits their personality, which can develop into a unique skill. The most popular way of determining one's aura type is through water deviation. The deviation requires one to float a leaf atop of a glass of water. A student of Nen will place their hands around the glass and perform Ren, or focus a greater than normal amount of aura in their hands, such as the Gyo. The resulting effect from one's aura contacting the glass will determine a person's aura type. All of these 6 different types gives the 6 different outputs in water deviation. If the volume of the water changes, then the user is an enhancer. Enhancers are simple and determined, and most of them never lie, hide nothing, and are very straightforward in their actions or in their thinking. Their word and the action are often dominated by their feelings. They are generally very selfish and focus on their goals. This is reflected in their Nen, as enhancers typically rely on simple and uncomplicated Nen abilities. Now if the taste of the water changes, then the user is a transmuter. Transmuters are whimsical, prone to deceit and fickle. Transmutation users have a unique attitude, and many are regarded as weirdos and tricksters. Often they put the forth of facade while hiding the true aspect of their personalities. Even when they don't hide their personalities, they rarely reveal their true intentions. Many transmuters rely on technique that gives unique and unpredictable properties to their Nen that reflects their personalities. Now, if the impurities appears in the water, then the user is conjurer. Conjurers are typically high-strung and overly serious, stoic and nervous all the time. They are often on guard as to be cautious, and they are very observant and logical, rarely falling into traps and being able to analyze things calmly with the strength of the conjurers. Many of the items that conjurers creates are often used by them in a very deliberate or practical, logical fashion. If the color of the water changes, then the user is an emitter. Emitters are impatient, not detail-oriented, short-tempered, and quick to react in a volatile manner. They resemble the enhancer in building their impulsivity, but the difference between them is that the emitters probably tend to calm down and forget easier. Because of the nature of the emission, many Nen abilities created by emitters are primarily long-range. In the next type, if the leaf moves on the water surface, then the user is a manipulator. Manipulators are argumentative and logical. They advance at their own pace and tend to want to keep their families and loved ones safe. On the other hand, when it comes to pursuing their own goals, they do not listen to what others might have to say about it. While manipulators often use techniques that allows them to control their opponents, some choose an inanimate medium to control. The next and the last type of the Nen is specialist. If anything which is different from the 5 things that I mentioned before appears, then the user is specialist. Specialists are independent and charismatic. They won't say anything important on them and will refrain from being close friend. But because of their natural charisma that draws others, they are always surrounded by many people. Because specialization is unique and can have many facets, most specialists possesses only one Nen ability. And that was all about the different types of auras of Nen and what each type of aura says about the user. And I think that's it. That is for today's video, guys. Actually, there are still many things that could be explained in detail about the Nen, but this much information is enough for anyone to watch Hunter x Hunter without any worries of how power system exactly works. All of these things are also explained in the anime too, but I hope that you understood my explanation about Nen, and that is it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I post daily anime content about top 10 top 5 listings, anime reviews, recommendations, news, theories and all sorts of anime content on daily basis. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and that was it, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.